All right, we're going to start to build out some rockets. So here is what we're going to eventually get to, where there's sound and stuff too, but the rockets are firing. There's just a belligerent amount of chaos on the screen. All right, so we got to start somewhere. In that place, for our rockets, we're going to actually leverage the ball object. So we're going to basically, the rockets, if you didn't notice, have a tail very much like the ball and stuff. So I'm going to leverage the program that we've already done with the ball to make a rocket class fairly easy to build. So let's just create a new class inside the entity package called rocket. And rocket is going to extend ball. So rocket extends ball. And rocket needs to be able to do one additional thing. As it travels forward, it's like it's got rocket boosters on the back, right? And so it accelerates. So we need to have a double to remember its acceleration. So we'll do additional fields. So a private double called acceleration. All right. And then we need to have a constructor, public rocket, that in the case of the ball, we just assign it a value of x and y, but our rocket, we want it to be able to shoot from a location, like on the side of the paddle. So we're going to ask it to take in an x position. Then we're going to call the superconstructor, so it handles kind of establishing some of the basic stuff of a ball for us. But then we're going to make some changes. So the ball class has a dx and a dy and y and stuff, and these can no longer be private fields because we need to be able to use them. And we're going to ask for the color field also protected so that we want to be able to adjust these things. All right, so if you think about a rocket, is it traveling side to side in our game? No. Its job is to shoot straight up. So the dx is always going to be 0. It's never going to travel horizontally. The dy, it needs to start at some base velocity, and if it's going up, the dy needs to be negative because in Java the y coordinate goes as it gets higher, it goes down on the screen. So the dy needs to be negative, and I think -5 is a good way to start. So it'll travel up 5 pixels at the beginning every time through the loop, through the update method. Then we say the y position, the height of the rocket when it's initially fired, equals the paddle dot y position. And then let's set it just a little bit above, so like minus size. Yeah, I think that's fine. And then we'll say this dot x, the x in our field, our parent class's field. We'll set the acceleration to equals, and I just kind of played with this, -0.6. So it'll go up increasingly quickly by 0.6 pixels. And then we're going to set the color of our rocket to yellow, just to differentiate it. You can choose whatever color you want, of course. Oops, color.yellow. All right. A rocket also needs to it's going to do the same kinds of things that a ball does, basically. I mean, it still needs to know if it collides with a brick and stuff, but it does need to update its acceleration, or its velocity based on its acceleration. So we need to override the update method because the ball's update method does not include any sort of acceleration. So we're adding additional functionality. Public void update. We still want it to do all the ball's update stuff, so let's say super.update. And then let's say dy plus equals the acceleration. And so because dy is negative and the acceleration is negative, saying plus equals combines two negatives to make a number that is more negative. So and then we want to say, like, if it goes off the top of the screen, we want to set it to inactive. So if the y value becomes less than, let's just say 2, to give ourselves a little padding. I'm not sure if it's going to bounce off the 0, so I want to do it just a little bit before then. So is active equals false. Now, we have to create this the variable is active. You remember in our ball class, that because the game entity interface contains a method called getIsActive, we have been telling the program, yes, the ball is always active, but in fact, let's just create a Boolean called isActive and return that under the getIsActive method. And here we're going to actually create it. So protect our private, let's do it up here, protected Boolean isActive. And we're going to set isActive to true in the balls constructor. So isActive equals true. So whenever one is built, we want it to be active. And so now under the update method, it will return whether or not the rocket is active, or it'll be able to flip that value of isActive to false if the rocket goes too high, like it goes past all the bricks. Okay, and so this is actually enough for the rocket class, believe it or not, because we're inheriting all of the functionality of a ball. So the rocket already knows how to check all its own collisions because the ball knows how to check the collisions. So we're going to make use of those things in later tutorials as we implement and integrate the ball or the rockets into the actual game panel class and let the panel shoot them. All right, until next time.